Hi everyone, welcome back to Money with Mark, and this is your money questions answered. It's where I take questions from you, the subscribers, and I answer your questions all about money, savings, investing, and helping you become financially independent or achieve whatever your financial goals are. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, hit the subscribe button down below this video and leave a comment on this video about a question that you have, and I'll be sure to make a video on it in a future episode. Today's question comes from Liz from Halifax. So thank you very much, Liz, for asking this question. And Liz wants to know, is there any reason that we should have multiple bank accounts and money in multiple bank accounts? And before I get into this question, I just want to give a special shout out to the new co-host, Kai, who is once again sleeping on the table, day 2 on the job. Honestly, I'm pretty disappointed in his lackluster performance. You're a terrible little co-host, aren't you? Yeah, okay. He's not going to be of much help in this video. But Liz, thank you very much for asking this question. And it's a very interesting question. And when I first got this question, I was thinking, I wonder why Liz wants to have money in different bank accounts. This is very interesting to me. But before I answered Liz's question, I asked her, I said, why do you want money in different bank accounts? Because on the surface, this seems like an obvious answer. Like, no, you don't need to have money at different banks. Like, there's no reason to do that. Why would you need money in TD bank account and a Scotia bank account, or a Wells Fargo account? And it doesn't matter. But does it matter? And I am here to argue that yes, it does matter, and that you should have money in different bank accounts. And here is why. When it comes to our emergency fund, that is having 3 to 6 months of expenses. For me, I put about $15,000 in an emergency fund. It is best to keep that out of sight and out of mind, especially if you're someone who struggles with dipping into your savings or taking out of your retirement funds or selling your investments. It's important to put that money into a different place where you just can't see it and can't touch it. And in that case, for an emergency fund is the best example of when I use another bank account. So I have my main bank account, and then I have a separate bank account, which is actually with a fintech company. And I put all of my emergency fund into that bank account. It's out of sight, it's out of mind. And if an emergency ever does pop up, I can easily pull from it. But in my day-to-day expenses, I don't see it when I open my bank account app. So I'm never tempted to use it. And I actually forget that it's even there. And sometimes I forget when I should actually be using my emergency fund. I actually just leave the money there and put it on my credit card anyways. But that's a story for another video. The other reason that you would maybe want a bank account is if you got maybe a better mortgage at a different bank, or if you had maybe a student loan at a different bank. And sometimes you pop into that accidentally. Sometimes you might be getting better rates, and so you can save a little bit of money by doing something like that. And that's an okay reason to have it too. So when I asked Liz, I said, Liz, why do you want to have money at different bank accounts? Her answer quite surprised me. And Liz was saying that she worries that if a bank fails, it would be good to have money saved in a different bank account where that money wouldn't be at risk. And this is a great example of diversity, because we do want to diversify our wealth. When it comes to your personal finances, while yes, it is great to have all of your savings or most of your savings going into investments in low-cost index funds or investing into real estate or rental properties, that's all great, but it is good to have those reserve funds and to distribute them across a variety of assets. That could be in different bank accounts. That could also be in the form of cryptocurrency or real gold and silver coins, or it could come in the form of land. You can store value in a variety of different ways. It doesn't just need to be in a bank account. So I really like Liz's thought process on thinking about potential risk with banks. Now, being from Canada, both Liz and I, if one bank fails, pretty much they would all fail. So even if you had money at TD and Scotiabank, if TD fails, then Scotiabank is absolutely going to fail too, because all the banks in Canada are pretty much the exact same. So when it comes to Canadian banks, if one fails, they're pretty much all doomed. So in that case, Liz, if you are looking to store your value or your wealth in areas that could diversify your safety net, then I would recommend going and getting some gold coins. And actually, the Canadian Mint is the world's leading mint producer of gold and silver and platinum coins. So those are a great way to store your value long-term if you are scared of the banks failing. And by all means, this might sound like a doomsday prepper scenario, and that's more of a Western mentality. But if you have any family or relations over into Europe, especially the Eastern Europe areas, storing your family's wealth in gold and silver and jewelry is actually a much more common practice and not really viewed as a doomsday scenario. And especially with a lot of the ways that the banks, especially in the US, have been printing tons and tons of money, piling on the debt, it does raise a lot of questions about potential hyperinflation or potential deflation. But in either one of those scenarios, the best thing that you can do is have no or little debt and have your value or your wealth stored in a variety of different assets. So that could be in cryptocurrency, real coins, or just cash in the bank. So I would recommend by taking a lot of your money, and probably about like 80 to 90% of your money, and putting it into investment accounts for your retirement and buying low-cost index funds with that. And then taking the other 10 to 20% of your savings and investing it in a variety of different assets. That could be a rental property, it could be a business you own, but that's a whole other topic that I don't really want to get into in this video. And it could be in the form of gold and silver in preferably minted coins, because that's the best store of value as opposed to like jewelry. And so if you want to do that, I recommend doing it that way, as opposed to saying taking a couple grand here from your bank and putting it in another bank. I think you'd be much better off by taking that couple grand, buying a few minted gold and silver coins, and storing that in your house or at a safety deposit box. Probably not in the bank that you're afraid of failing, at least. So that's my recommendation to you, Liz. And if you have a money question, please let me know in the comments on this video, and I'll be sure to make a video for you. That's it from me. I'm Mark, and this is Money with Mark. And for my co-host Kai, who's sleeping again on the job, another doc pay, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. Peace out.